What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Get Bucked, episode 13. I'm your host, Ryan, and as usual, I get to be joined by my co-host, Jackson. Jackson, how's it going?
Well, man. Ready to talk some Gulfstream for the first time this year, I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We're going to be going over the late pick 5 tomorrow at Gulfstream Park. They got a $64,000 carryover. You've probably seen a lot of Jackson and my face on YouTube the past 24 hours as we had Big Hoof Energy last night. And then Jackson, you and I pulled a doubleheader and went on to Pacific Horse Players on the HHH Racing channel where I am normally, and you were coming in as a co-host for the week. So solid pinch hitter as you're the baseball guy here. So you have another game tonight?
Yeah. We are our league this season is a little different. We kind of lost like half our team. And lost some of our better people, so we dropped down a division and changed nights. So we're 2-0 so far, but we're actually playing a good team tonight, so we'll see.
All right. Well, best of luck to you out there.
Very, very intense.
Oh yeah, clearly. Hope it's a like a beer league type deal, so you can have. Okay.
Last week there was a little league team that came. They had like practice on the field next to us, so they finished and they had like a pizza party, so they were watching us. And I went up to bat. The field's really small. It's like 200 feet. They're like, if you hit a home run, we'll give you pizza. So I was like, okay, bet. And I hit a nuke. It was like so far over the fence. And I got back to the dugout, and they brought me 3 slices of pizza. It was great.
Oh, 3 slices. That's a great deal.
That's awesome.
That's a good time. But I think we need a little luck for this late pick 5. I tried to find some prices. I don't know how you felt, but it's a decent sequence. You got the return of ABARRIO in race number 7 that we're going to talk about, coming off of a pretty substantial layoff after a pretty bad run in the Met Mile, but comes in here back with the barn of Safi Joseph. So that's going to be interesting. Safi has 2 runners in there, so I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about his other one, as well as the 1-5 morning line favorite, ABARRIO. Before we get into it, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Thanks for joining. If you hear any noise in the background, again, I apologize. There are people putting on a new roof at my house, so that just kind of is what it is. We'll kind of keep it moving. We'll get the first race up on the screen here. We got race number 5 at Gulfstream Park. We're going a mile 70 yards on the Tapeta. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, state bred, $20,000 optional, non-winners of one other than I saw the race 5-6-2. Jackson, you saw the race 5-3-7. Why don't you take it away to start us off with number 5, Rachel Song, a horse that we both picked on top.
Yeah, this sequence it feels like one where you're going to try to press it up a few times because there's a couple strong favorites that I think you can lean on. This is one of them. Rachel Song, she's 6-5. She could go lower than that even. I mean, she's just very, very logical in this spot. She's consistent. She shows up every race. She keeps running faster than these horses have run, and she's versatile, right? She can be on the lead. She can be just off of it. She can come from way off the pace. So that kind of versatility it's dangerous, especially when you have a horse that's going to be odds on. I'm not really interested in trying to beat her. She's ice cold single for me. If she loses on Saturday or Friday, if she loses Friday, it's going to be a very quick sequence for me.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Rachel Song looked tough to get by. I gave a look to the number 6 directly to that one's outside. Just thought the speed figures were somewhat comparable. I like the run against State Bred 3 back going this distance. That ended up in a win. Cesaris a little cold to start the meet in terms of the winner's circle, but her runners have been firing, having 9 in the money, and then an additional one that made it to the winner's circle. I noticed you didn't have the 6 anywhere, but you did go right to the outside for your third choice before we go inside to Sprezzatura.
Works for me. Yeah, just a horse, a filly that I think can get forward in the spot. And there aren't any world beaters in here. That kind of speed can be pretty dangerous in a spot like this if she finds herself alone on the front end. She needs to get a lot faster to compete with the favorite. Again, I'm singling the 5. This is more of a exacta trifecta pick to come underneath the favorite.
Yeah, I like it. A horse that I mentioned the 6 already that the run against State Bred's kind of fixed, but I like the 2. 2-1 on the morning line, but could float up a little bit with the presence of Rachel Song. Probably going to take a lot of money in here. But Paco Lopez hops aboard, and they hit Paco and Trombetta 22% with a 4.47 ROI at the Gulfstream meet. So you got to like that. I know Irad's in town at Gulfstream tomorrow because he's riding a daughter of Songbird for Whisper Hill Farm. So he's also going to be on a few mounts. I don't know what that has to do with Paco Lopez, other than the fight that they got into a couple years ago. But I thought
he's also riding a horse called White ABARRIO, I think. I think he won a pretty big race that I ride. I think he's coming to ride that horse.
Maybe. I feel like he might have come to ride the maiden. I'm just kidding. But
I don't know.
But I thought Victory Badge had a shot. Has been close to some hot paces, so maybe this one's just going to be forward. And speed is always dangerous on the Tapeta. So I thought this one deserved a look. But I'm with you. It's a pretty heavy lean for me on the 5 in the first one. But I do think I'm going to spread because I might try and beat White ABARRIO a little later on. But I saw the race 5.62. Jackson, you saw the race 5.37. That's race number 5, the first leg. Oh, my bad. You did. Yeah, my bad. That's a host fail. Here we go.
Real quick, the 2 Victory Badges, the obvious alternative. I couldn't pick them because what am I going to do? Have a $50 straight exactor that pays $1? I mean, that's just not exciting. The 3 horses a horse I think can get another horse that can get an exactor or the trifecta. She never ever wins. She's 1 for 34, and I do think she has a chance in here to make some noise because her better races have been around 2 turns, and her last 3 have come exclusively around the 1 turn where she just kind of run that even running style that we see in horses that want to stretch out, and that's kind of what, like I said, she's been better around 2 turns. So I'm not going to be surprised if she finds herself in a decent spot and can kind of hang in there for that 2nd or 3rd spot.
Absolutely. Now that is those are all of our picks. I saw the race 5.62. Jackson saw the race 5.37. And that is race number 5, the first leg of the late pick 5 tomorrow at Gulfstream Park. Carryover of $64,900 something. So that pool should get pretty nice. I'm thinking maybe 225. It's a Friday, so maybe 250, maybe above. I guess we'll see. 500. All right. I mean, I guess with White ABARRIO in the sequence, it's going to draw some people. This
sequence is CAW heaven, where it's a giant favorite in one of them.
Oh my God.
Another big favorite, another. I mean, they're gonna crush.
Yeah, they are gonna crush this thing. So, yeah, to that point, you have you make a good one. But race number 6, as we'll get into this one, I saw the race 6.21. Jackson, you saw the race 1.27. Excuse me. So we'll start with your horse on the rail, a horse that I picked in 3rd. That's Mr. Scatter.
Yeah, he's a horse that likes to come from pretty far off the pace, which at Gulfstream usually isn't great. But I do think there's a decent amount of speed in here where it could set up for him. I just really like the fact that his two races around 1 turn have been victories. He's won those races pretty handily. The one at Churchill, he had a pretty good setup, but he won going away, had a little bit of trouble. And then last time right here at Gulfstream, he won going a mile, and he did it 11-1 against very similar competition. And again, he kind of won pretty easily in the end. It wasn't like that was a super fast pace or anything. I know it came in the slot, but it's just his 1 turn races have been much better than anything else he's done. And if that trend continues, he could make some noise from off the pace in the spot.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's I echo everything you said. That's kind of why I picked him in 3rd. My top choice for the race is the number 6, a horse that goes by the name of Lasso. Also happens to be the name of my cat, who's in my room here somewhere, just running around. However, that had very little to do with the pick. I just liked the race last time out. Lost to Raging Fury, who was a pretty highly regarded horse kind of early on in that one's career, and then now kind of running claiming level. But the drop here into a strict non-2 winners of a lifetime instead of the kind of conditional 35 he was at last time. Mixture of that, I like the works after that return, and then 22% for Jorge Delgado, 2nd off the layoff, as well as this horse just running 2nd off the bench. Stays at the same level, so that's a pretty much enough of a vote of confidence for me. The pace wasn't flying last time out, and that Gulfstream Park dirt often plays so heavy towards speed that this ended up being a pretty heavy lean for me. I just like the way he came back. He seemed to come back in good form. Jaramillo sticks aboard here for the 2nd time off the bench, and I think that's just enough to get Lasso into the winner's circle.
I like it.
Move it. I think I picked the 2 in 2nd, as did you. Mutual 2nd choice here. Wow, that was loud. Lace Up. Why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Yeah, he's your Moorline favorite, and with that rag riding, I'm sure he'll get back down even more from that. And he makes a lot of sense in here, right? I mean, this is the level he's been good at. He's already won at this level, and he's got 2nd and a 3rd in there. He's a horse that can get forward, but he also has the ability to pass pass some horses in the stretch. So just one that should be right there. I don't know if he loves to win these races, and I don't know if he necessarily has to win this race, but he's not one I'm going to leave off my tickets because he's just too logical in this spot.
Absolutely. I saw it the same way. Sorry, I'm muting and unmuting as I go here because they are just directly above me right now with like a hammer and a saw and playing music, and it's a mess. So, yeah, lace up. I think, you mentioned morning line favorite. Morning line favorite is going to be tough to get by, but I think you got to find a way around at least one of the favorites in this sequence. It's kind of that type of sequence where you have to press up a strong opinion and just kind of hope that you're right where you're right, and you can make some money. This parlay is not going to be terrible if you're able to keep the ticket pretty skinny, and you and I kind of both did a good job of that. So when we get to our pick 5 tickets, I think we'll be able to kind of express that the right way. We'll move on to your third choice here in the race. That's the number 7 Manhattan Boy, who would be a bit of a price and would kind of spice things up in the pick 5.
Yeah, I don't think either of us had any issues staying under budget for this sequence because it just doesn't make any sense to make a giant ticket. I don't think, at least. Manhattan Boy, I gave him a decent look at 12-1, especially. The biggest question mark by far is the surface. He hasn't really run great over the dirt before, but that was his first few starts, and maybe he's just a better animal at this stage of his career because his last few starts they've been pretty solid. I mean, last time he was up against a pretty hot pace, closed into it, made the first move, and then just couldn't quite see out the distance. And that's kind of what he's really done in these 2-turn races. Is he's always there at the end, and then just kind of gets a little tired late. So I think his cut back to 7 furlongs could be pretty beneficial for him. He's drawn well on the outside where he can be, a length or two off of the pace, stay in the clear throughout. It's just a matter of if the surface if this dirt is really what he wants to do, because his figures put him right there, and I think he'll get a pretty good trip.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm not going to talk you off at 12-1 because in a pick 5 that kind of looks the way this one does, that 12-1 is going to play a lot higher. So I like it. If this one can get home, that's definitely going to spice up your prices, spice up your ticket a little bit here. So that's race number 6, the second leg of the late pick 5. I saw the race 6-1. Jackson saw the race 1-7. The 1 and the 2 look to be pretty formidable in there. My top pick is the number 6 Lasso, and then I like the long shot underneath for Jackson. Moving on to race number 7 here. This is the return of White ABARRIO. White ABARRIO, obviously a three-time Grade 1 winner. I will throw the past performances up. And as you can see in our picks, I went 4-2-1. Jackson went 2-4. White ABARRIO is the number 2. The number 4 is Mish, another runner for Saffie Joseph. Why don't you just kick it off and start talking about White ABARRIO? Because obviously this is the main reason this race was written, and everybody's kind of been looking forward to this one's return.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Breeders' Cup Classic winner. He's danced every dance, multiple Grade 1 winner, like you said. He runs well at Gulfstream. He's 5 for 6 here. He's supposed to win this race. I have no idea what happened in the Met Mile. I have no idea what happened in Saudi. Maybe he's not the same horse. I don't know why he's going back to Saffie after all that. But, I mean, if he runs anywhere near those races from last year, this is a walkover. So, and also this race didn't come up very strong. So I'm going to single him. He's going to be 1-5, maybe even 1-9. Who knows? If he wins, great. If he loses, I don't know. I just don't see how you can take anyone else in this spot.
Yeah, I get it. He's tough to beat. It might be a dumb move, but I'm going too deep in the pick 5. I'm going to use White ABARRIO, but I'm also going to use the other Saffie Joseph trainee. Oh man, this is just so loud. I'm going to use Mish here. Mish was up on a pretty hot pace last time out and just kind of hung around. Comes in second off the bench. Has some previous races, looking 2 and 3 back before he went on the layoff during the summer. This one definitely has competitive enough figures that if White ABARRIO maybe isn't fully cranked up, and there's no need for him to be at 100% for this comeback try, as a 5-year-old now and in an allowance spot, you can't imagine that they're going to have him, all the way sitting on go. But based on pure raw ability, White ABARRIO should trounce this field. I'm going to just take the guess that maybe he's not fully ready and Mish is going to fire a bigger effort because, the other Saffie is often a horse that you can see kind of walk a run into the winner's circle. And obviously, you have Edgar Zayas on board here, who's the regular rider for Safi during these meets outside of the championship meet, and then things kind of go, the IRAD way or wherever. And IRAD obviously on White ABARRIO here. But I like Mish. Maybe just spring a bit of an upset. White ABARRIO is going to be 1-9. This was not a strong field in any way, shape, or form. So Mish, I just liked enough to take on top here.
Yeah. Is it the same owner as well? I know it's both Safi. It might be the same.
C2 and C2, yeah.
Interesting.
So interesting that they're both, both coming back in here for the same thing. I'm looking at their workouts. They weren't working out together. But going to be interesting to see for sure. But I guess the last one I'll touch on is going to go down to the number one. That's Gatsby, a popular Gulfstream Park runner. 6 wins out of 28 tries, only one going the distance here. This one is pretty light on figures. Going to have to go back all the way to when this one was previously trained by Carlos David to find figures that would even kind of, sniff the level of this field or the level of White ABARRIO. Rail draw is not great. I'm not going to use the one anywhere. I just thought we were going to go 3 deep, but in a race like this, it probably does make more sense to just have 2. But Gatsby's my pick. If, Mish or White ABARRIO, for whatever reason, don't end up going tomorrow, then I guess Gatsby's going to be my kind of suck up second choice. But pick on top for me is Mish. And then, of course, the return of the multiple grade 1 winner, White ABARRIO, who, you can make the point after the Saudi Cup, didn't really ship back in great order, had that long layoff to contend with. So who knows what we're going to see. This one comes back as a 5-year-old here. So I guess we'll find out tomorrow. But
the problem is, as bad as the Met Mile was, the 85 is still maybe good enough to win this race. That's just how this field came up. Outside of Mish, the 85 is pretty strong.
No, I completely agree. 85 might be enough to just win this field going in reverse, but that is what it is. Race number 7, I saw it 4-2-1. Mish on top, White ABARRIO in second, Gatsby in third. Jackson picked it 2-4. That's White ABARRIO over Mish. Moving on to race number 8 here. I'll throw the picks up on the board. I saw the race 8-2-3. Jackson, you saw it 1-8-2. We're on the rail right now, so we'll just stick with that for your top pick. Drum roll, please.
Yeah, he's an interesting one because I was super high on this horse last summer at Saratoga when, he ran in that loaded maiden race where Sees the Gray, Dornoch, Global Perspective. Those were all really strong horses. Then came back and ran second behind Locked, another Breeders' Cup horse. And then, he won, ran really good in the Remsen where he got third. That day was a huge rail bias and he was wide the whole way. And then, he missed some time, whatever. He comes back at Parks, changes trainers from Cox to Summers. He won the 9 and he just ran. He didn't run. He was so bad. And now he changes trainers again and he shows up here. There's just, I don't know. There's a lot of mixed signals for me, but he just had so much potential as a 2-year-old. I'm going to give him one more chance. I think in these situations, it kind of just depends on the price, right? If he was 8-5 in this spot, you try to beat him. But if he's really going to be 8-1, I think you give him another shot to find that good form he had, because once upon a time he was one of the top prospects in the country. So I think it's encouraging that IRAD shows up here. He should be somewhatly forwardly placed. The rail's an issue, but I don't mind it that much against this field. I think that a lot of these horses in this field have some questions to answer. So I'm going to pick him on top. I'm actually going to single him because we got to get skinny somewhere. And if he's really 8-1, that's going to provide some really good value in a sequence that looks pretty chalky otherwise. So why not? Let's pick an 8-1 shot.
Absolutely, yeah. Drum roll, please, in with a big shot for sure. I didn't have this one in my top 3, but I just didn't like that last effort. There's too many trainer switches, too much to keep up with. Oh, wow. This is
Ryan always has a lock.
This is my good buddy Henry. Henry, to answer your question, and to answer everybody else's, I do have a lock. That's my single for the pick 5. That's number 8, Steel Sunshine for Bobby DeBona. Dropping out of the grade 1, Stephen Foster over the summer at Churchill Downs. Obviously a bit of a layoff to contend with, but I like the outside draw. I like this runner coming back off the bench here. Obviously huge class relief. Last time this runner was down at this level, he won by open lengths. So that's enough. I think Steel Sunshine is just flat out better. This wasn't where I could go. This wasn't where I could go with the, I couldn't go deep in the pick 5 here to say much more. This one lost to Kings Barnes, First Mission, Ir Miracolo, Steel Sunshine. The list goes on. a lot of top tier runners, obviously in top end grade stakes company. So that was enough for me to pick Steel Sunshine on top. And obviously you weren't too far away picking this one in second.
Yeah, he just makes a lot of sense in here. Yeah, you get covered most of the bases. I mean, he's just better on one turn as well. I mean, this is what he wants to do. This is what he's best at. He was really good in the spring at this distance. He's drawn well. There should be some pace to set it up for him. He's just the best horse. It's just a matter of if he's ready off the layoff, or is this a prep for something down the road?
Yeah, absolutely a fair question to wonder, but similar answer for me that you had about White ABARRIO is that maybe even on this horse's, C day, it might just be better than a lot of these in here. It's a pretty, I don't know, it's not the strongest field. This would be a great Pacific Classic if they were to run it, but I digress. So number 2, Big Martini, is the horse I picked in second. I mentioned I'm going to single Steel Sunshine, but I'll talk about Big Martini briefly before I pass it over to you as you pick this horse in third. Crichton and Amicio Jaramillo, they make a good duo. This one has competitive speed figures, stakes place last time out against restricted company, but likes the one turn here at Gulfstream Park, lost to Loco ABARRIO, who was a repeat winner in that effort. But yeah, I mean, I thought Big Martini made some sense underneath there, but again, Steel Sunshine for me is the one that's going to take the cake.
Yeah, he's pretty interesting in this spot, I thought, because he got really good this summer when, he was going up against likes of Cape Trafalgar and Comedy Town, was a pretty good Safi sprinter. And then, he was running 91, 95 buyers. And then they took him off Lasix and he regressed pretty significantly. And now he's getting back on Lasix for the start. And I think that might be a difference maker. Maybe he's just a better horse when he runs on Lasix. He should be forwardly placed in here, and he should have every opportunity because there's, like I said, I think a lot of the other horses have some questions to answer. And he's a pretty, what you're going to get from him. And he's going to be 9-2. I think that's a decent bet in my opinion.
Absolutely, yeah, decent price and something you could get behind if you don't like the favorite. I do like your pick on the rail of Drumroll, Please. Last one I'll talk about is directly to this one's outside. That's the number 3 Golden Glider, who I like as a price. Obviously, Mark Cassie's, an excellent trainer. This one gets blinkers on, dropping out of a handicap race, kind of dropping down to a reasonable spot here. 2 back, 1 versus the claiming level, wasn't claimed out of there. Is coming in off a layoff, gets, as I mentioned, blinkers on for the effort. 2 for 3 at the distance, finding the winner's circle, has a win over the track at Gulfstream Park. So that's enough to have me pick this horse third. And I'm probably going to play a straight exact at 8-3. I just hope that, Golden Glider goes off at a bit of a price and maybe I can find some value there. I might use Drumroll Please a little bit as well, because I do like that run of the more that I talk about him, but he's really just got to show something that he hasn't, I think, or not since, early in his 2-year-old season. So for that reason, I couldn't pick him in my top 3, but I like Golden Glider to kind of round out my picks here, as I think his first try off the bench and getting back on, or staying on dirt rather, is going to be a good key for him.
Okay.
That is race number 8 from Gulfstream Park. And now we move on to race number 9. This is the final leg of the pick 5. We mentioned has a carryover of $64,900. What were you saying?
You just copy me, dude. That's crazy.
I didn't. I got my picks done before I looked at yours, but yeah. I mean, I guess we did this yesterday too. We had some similar picks. I saw the race 359. Jackson saw it 593. Yeah, so I guess deep and competitive field for the most part, but we kind of saw it the same way. We're gonna start with the number 5, Dear Dad.
Yeah, this is the most interesting betting race, I thought, because the favorite is, I believe, the 4 horse, and he's 3-1, and he makes sense, but he also has a couple questions to answer. So this is definitely the best betting race. It's on the Topita, and I thought it was a good spread of some speed horses, some middle pack, and some closers. So again, good betting race. I like the 5 at 4-1. Turf race was okay, but he's definitely run a lot faster on the Topita, which he gets back to today. Shouldn't be too far off of the pace. Should get a good trip, no matter how fast they go, no matter how slow they go. More than capable of passing some horses, and he's running well fresh, so that's not really a concern for me. Especially Cassie, who does well at this move. Bullet workout gets Gonzalez, who does really well for Cassie and does really well in the Topita. So all systems go for this horse. Dear Dad, he makes plenty of sense in here, and he was only a length behind Casey Chief, who was a basically synthetic specialist at this point. He wins a lot of those allowance type races at Gulfstream. So pretty good effort two back. And if he gets back to that one, he should be pretty tough in here. I hope you're not muted and you're just making me talk to myself over here, but maybe, I don't know.
I was definitely muted.
Yeah.
That's a my bad. I was saying I definitely like the 5 enough for all the reasons that you said. Getting back on Tapito, where this one is clearly shows kind of his best efforts going 2 turns on the Tapita, as he's never been worse than third. And you mentioned that loss. The third only came to Casey Chief, who is a Tapita specialist. I like the bullet work coming in as well. For Dear Dad, going 4 furlongs and 47, best of 5. Horse I picked on top here is Honesto. That's Bobby DeBona. Miguel Vasquez, my favorite Gulfstream rider, is in the saddle for this one. And that kind of forced me to lean a little bit this way. I just like the way Vasquez rides out there, whether it's Tapita or dirt. I'm a fan, and I'm gonna pick him on a price or on a horse if it's something deep and competitive like this. This one's got to step up a little bit. 2 races back, this one didn't have, I don't know, it wasn't his best effort. The pace kind of held together for the most part. He did have a semi-decent rally, got up into third. Then they went over to turf for a try, comes back in this spot, same level, reasonable placement, not up for the tag. So I think DeBona and Miguel are going to connect here for Honesto at 5-1. So hoping for the best, but this is, as you mentioned, the best betting race of the sequence. So hopefully you're able to kind of get out with a bit of a price here because it does look like we may have to reach a little bit to find prices in those other legs. So if we can get to the last one and maybe just play up a few opinions to play up a couple of prices in here, I think 5-1 is fair on Ernesto, and that's what I'm hoping for. And you must have similar thoughts because you picked this one in third.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said. He needs to get a little bit faster, and he's had some trouble at this level, which is concerning. But he also I thought he had excuses in all those races. I mean, the one back in May, he was wide the whole way and up on the pace. 2 back, like you said, that pace mostly held together. I think the other 4 horses in the try were first, second, and third. I want to say one was maybe fourth, but they're all in the top half of the field throughout. So that pace held together. And then last time he was just too close to a fast pace. So he needs to work out a trip in here, get forwardly plays, hug that rail. Because I don't think he's quite as good as some of these others in here, but with a little bit of racing luck, I don't need to squint too hard to see him finding himself in the winner's circle.
Absolutely, I like it. Yeah, hopefully you wear your glasses so you don't have to squint at all. But we'll go now to the far outside. That's the number 9. That's the other Rohan Crichton runner. That's Junction Road for Irad Ortiz. Okay, I thought I was muted for a second. That's good. Okay, Junction Road. Colt out of Gervin, 3 years old, gets to stretch out for the first time. And off that last running line, lost to Ensign Parker, who popped at a big price that day. It was something like, 25 something to 1. But I think this one gets a good shot going 2 turns for the first time. You're going to have to pay a bit of an IRAD tax, which is why I'm not going to place a win bet on this horse. But I do think this one's stretching out off of a kind of even running line. Just kind of indicates to me that this one might want to go a little bit longer. I know typically Gervins are best around 1 turn, but I mean, we've seen crazier things happen. It's really only going 1 mile and 70 yards, so it's not too bad. So I'm thinking Junction Road can kind of round out my top 3 picks here. You saw this one in second. What else did you like about this runner?
Yeah, I actually really did not like his last race. I thought he probably should have ran better than that given the setup he had. But the run 2 back was pretty solid. I mean, he was wide throughout. He was near the pace, and he got the job done. He just feels like a horse that isn't really he doesn't quicken like he should sprinting. So I don't know. I think he actually might appreciate getting to a routed ground. He should be forwardly placed in this spot. He should get forward, be right there, and we're going to see if he has anything left in the stretch when they get to that final furlong. But I like I said, I think he is more of a even running style that usually translates to 2-turn success.
Absolutely. I think they've wrapped up top on me. What? I think they've wrapped up on the roof of my house. So it's a little more peace and quiet out here now. I'm almost not used to it because they've been here since like 8 a.m. But yeah, I like all the points on Junction Road. Again, good betting race. Your favorite is one that neither of us had in our top 3. That's the number 4, who I guess.
Can we talk about him super quick?
I was going to say, let's go talk about him real quick. We've pretty much zipped through this pick 5, so we got plenty of time. So yeah, go ahead. What did you want to mention on this number 4 here?
Yeah, I mean, the 3 horses I have, they're all going to be, I think, somewhat forward. And this is the one that if they go too fast, he'll be motoring from behind. You look at the 2 tries you were able to see on this surface, those were against much better horses, and he ran third in both those races. So good efforts both times. He was in good form this summer over at Monmouth and Colonial. Those were also against better horses. I just don't know if he's quite on speed figures. He's not really a standout. So that's why I didn't have him in my top 3, because I don't think he has a huge edge or anything. But he's definitely a logical contender. He'll be on my tickets. Not gonna be surprised at all if he's coming late.
Yeah, I'm gonna toss this runner on my pick 5. If he takes that turf form to the Tapeta, then yeah, he's gonna romp and he'll win for fun. But he's gonna be another short price, and I gotta make some stands somewhere. I gotta find some prices somewhere. So I'm just gonna leave this one off and hope that I can beat him with the 3, 5, or 9. But yeah, definitely a worthy favorite. I could see why he's the morning line favorite, just because coming off of those turf races I mentioned, that form is a lot stronger than a lot of these have run. But you still have to transfer that form over to the synthetic at the end of the day, and it's a lot to ask. This one's ran a couple times on the Tapeta at Gulfstream Park before and has gotten respectable numbers, but just looks like a better turf horse to me. So for all that, I'm going to go ahead and just fade him completely and just hope to get him with a little more of a price. But I hope this one goes off at 6-5 or something, so I can get a little bit of a better price on my other runners. But that's your morning line favorite. I saw the race 359. Jackson saw the race 593. Those are all 5 races in the sequence. I'll throw our tickets up now. And fair warning, we normally have a $50 budget, sometimes a $75 budget, or $100 if it's a pick 5 carryover. That is not the case today. I have a $12 ticket, and Jackson has a $6 ticket. 3 singles for you, Jackson. Only 1 for me, and then I kind of pare things down and go 3 deep in the last. Why don't you walk us through your ticket here?
Yeah, I'm going to start off, like I said, it could be a pretty quick sequence for me. Rachel Song is the horse to be, and I do agree that the 2 horses by far the second most likely winner, but I don't see any reason to use both on a nice. I don't see any reason to use both when they're going to be both short prices. You got to get some value out of this because there's already what I think is a pretty clear-cut single later on. That second leg, got to use the two logicals on the inside, and then if we can get that 7 on, we could make this thing interesting because he's 12-1. He should get a good trip, like I said. It's just all about the dirt. I don't know how he'll handle the dirt. If he does, he could blow this thing open a little bit. I'm all the way to ABARRIO. It's the same thing. It's a 2-horse race. He's by far the more likely winner. I'm just going to treat it like a free pass. If he loses, I don't know. So be it. I have no problem losing to Mish, because if he loses to Stablemate, then that's just, I get beat by Baffert's other horse all the time, so it won't be anything new for me. I'm going to single drum roll, please, because he was just so good as a 2-year-old. He ran some really good races against the best horses in the country. That Remsen was phenomenal. He got 3rd, and he was wide on the most extreme rail bias of the entire year at any track, and he was wide the whole way and still got 3rd. So if he runs back to those races, he's dangerous. Don't know what happened last time, but again, 8-1, sign me up. If he's 8-5, no, I don't want that horse at all. But he is 8-1, so I'm going to single him, get some value out of that. Hopefully he's back, gets back to that good form. And then the last race is going to just spread with the logicals. Hopefully we're alive for something decent and get any of them home and turn $6 into a couple $100. That's a pretty good payday, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. If this pool gets to $500,000, which I think is reasonable because it is a cause paradise, as you mentioned, I do think that maybe, a couple $100. So if you keep your tickets small, you might be able to kind of get a nice little reward out of it. Yeah, I'm going pretty simple. I'm going 2-5. I'm using Rachel's Road, or Rachel's Song in the first one. Also going to use the 2 horses that we talked about. Next race, I'm going 2-6. I think those are the 2 logicals in that spot as well, and I think those just kind of make sense. And the next one, this is kind of a silly thing to do. I should probably take a stand against White ABARRIO if I'm even willing to play somewhat against him. So maybe I will. Come tomorrow, we'll just kind of see how I'm feeling. But I'll go 2-4. I'll use both Saffie Joseph trainees. If White ABARRIO doesn't win, I think it's going to be Mish. And then next race, I'm using Steel Sunshine, the horse I talked about. That's going to be my big lean, just because I think that one's better. I like the draw to the far outside. And then the last race, I'm tossing the favorite, going 3-5-9. If the 4 transfers his form over to the Tapeta, so be it. I'm going to take the bet that he won't. So, yeah, I'm taking 3-5-9 in the last, hoping that's enough to get us home. And, you and I both have an opportunity. Oh, we don't have an opportunity to both cash this ticket because we are different in the 4th leg. But we'll see. Maybe one of us will be right, and I hope so. And who knows what this thing is going to pay?
Yeah, I'm going to be right for the second week in a row. Because last week we got I think we paid $800 for our cross country pick 5. So
that's right. If you played Jackson's cross country pick 5, you would be different than Jackson in that sense.
I let Ryan, I let Kaylee get in my head. Like they're like the 3-horse can't lose. He's 1-5. He's 1-5. I'm like, fine, I'll just single him. And I had it like 5 times. And he lost my nose to the other horse I liked. But
Cumberland Blues.
The thing that matters most was I gave it out to the people. So
you did. So hopefully somebody cashed on that. Hopefully somebody cashes on one of these 2 pick 5 tickets. Only an $18 if you combine them and use all of our plays together. So best of luck to everybody that's out there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Check in with us on Wednesday of next week as we'll be going Big Hoof Energy episode 3. We will be covering something out at Aqueduct, most likely late pick 5, unless they have a crazy carryover that we feel like going after that was similar to this week. Go hop on over if you got the time. Hop on over to the HHH Racing podcast. Check what they got going on. They got picks and ponies tonight. They're doing, I think they're doing Churchill though. So hop over there. Tell them I say what's up. Sorry,
I will not be there if it's Churchill.
Yeah, Jackson is boycotting Churchill Downs. So he's doing the reverse Bob Baffert. But this has been
Bob.
What?
Apparently, I stand with Bob. Although he's back now too, so yeah, I'm not myself technically.
Yeah, Bob Baffert back at Churchill Downs on Wednesday. His first runner in since the suspension began, pretty much, and that's the runner Barnes, who made his way onto the Kentucky Derby Futures after just one good workut. So I don't know what he closed at, but it was something in the 20s or 30s, which is just absurd. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. That horse was unnamed at the time. But anyway, this has been Get Bucked episode 13. The late pick 5 tomorrow at Gulfstream Park. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Hope you guys had a good one. Best of luck to you if you play our tickets or if you play your own. Hope we helped you in some way, shape, or form.